So this is The Witcher 3 running on a, let's see if I can get my horse. Do I have a horse? There's my horse. Running on a 3.4 gigahertz Intel Core i7 6700 with 16 gigs of RAM and a 4 gig NVIDIA Geforce GTX 980. So, taking a look at our settings, it is running 1080p. I've said this before, I'll say it again. A lot of these games will run 1440 at acceptable setting levels. However, I believe that this machine should, this is going to be a $300 computer. So I believe that this machine should be a 1080p experience. I don't believe you should be shopping in this price range hoping for a 1440p experience. Some of the games you'll be able to turn up, but in this price range, you're going to be better off running like an old 1080p, like an old 1080p, 144 hertz IPS, something like that. That's really the monitor you want to be running on here, because most of these games, 1080p is where you're at, and trying to stretch them to a 1440p monitor isn't necessarily going to look good just with the way LCDs work. But I am running on the high setting, and it is worth noting we are running off of a hard drive here, and it looks good. I keep being impressed by the way that this system runs games. I didn't expect it to run them this well. Okay, come on. All right, let me get to the game. Come on. But I do think this is actually rendered, so this is how the game actually looks. I don't believe that this is pre-rendered. I don't believe that the cutscenes are pre-rendered video, just based on the frame rate consistency and stuff. So now a lot of that frame rate droppage you see probably probably would be addressed by running it off of an SSD. I'm not running off of an SSD because typically when I build these systems to sell, all of the games that I preload, I typically load on basically a giveaway 500 gig drive that I have essentially an unlimited supply of. They're good 500 gig Seagate Barracudas. They're not ancient drives. They're like 2017, 2018, something like that data drives. But they are, essentially, I put them in as a giveaway just to preload some of this stuff. This particular build has a 500 gig SSD, and I typically like to leave the SSD clean for the buyer to do whatever they want with. And interestingly enough, I've commented on this on some other games. The view that you're getting on the video is going to be higher quality than what I'm getting, because I'm running it stretched on my 4K gaming monitor, on my 32-inch 4K gaming monitor. So it doesn't look terrible, but it does look better on an actual 1080p or windowed at 1080p on a higher res monitor. It doesn't look good stretched. So I would definitely recommend a build like this that you actually buy, like a high quality, like even a modern IPS, like 240, like I have a nice 240 or 280 hertz Asus that these games look good on. It's just, I have my capture card outputting to my primary gaming monitor. So when I'm doing capture, that's typically the monitor I'm on. So yeah, as you can see, it looks really good. You know what? Let's do, just for shits and giggles, let's turn it up if it'll let us to 1440, if it doesn't do anything weird. There we go. Okay, so, wait, no, it didn't, that didn't change. I did something wrong. Or not. Okay. So what? It didn't affect it at all? That can't be right. Okay. Let's try 4K then. No way. How does that work? Okay, let's look at this. Yeah, no, it's running 1080p. What is going on here? Is it scaling it somehow? This is just weird. Maybe that. Let's try that, see if that helps. Something weird's going on. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay. I was like, what is going on here? Okay, let's drop it back down to 1440. I was like, there's no way it's running 60 frames a second high. If that were the case, everybody needs a 980. Okay, let's see what this does. I'm guessing playable, but I could be wrong. Okay, so it's depending on your opinion on playable, it's playable. These types of games often do not need a high frame rate to run smoothly. I know a lot of people aren't going to be comfortable with that sub 60 FPS. So if you are running on a 1440, for whatever reason, and you want to run, you're going to be better off probably lowering. Let's go to medium and see what it does. Okay, so, okay, yeah, that gets you up. I'm going to say you're going to be better at a lower, because if you're running at a higher res, LCDs just generally don't look good at less than their native res. Now, on a competitive game like, say, Fortnite, nobody cares. But on a game like this, the game looking good is part of the experience. So I'm going to say you're better off at a slightly higher frame rate, at your native res, at lower settings, in this case. But anyway, that's kind of a quick run through on what to expect here and what kind of performance you're going to get. So I hope you guys found this useful, and thanks for watching the video.